So we will look at our questions for Snow Day in Space. And our first question, according to the story, what does it mean when Jem says, I am sentenced to life in space? All right, so our choices here are going to be she cannot use a video system in the station. She must wait for a friend to arrive at the station. She must stay on the station in order to remain healthy. She cannot leave the station because of the magnetic storm. So we want to go to paragraph 6. Even if you have an idea, you always want to double check. So she gives us this explanation. In paragraph 6, we will call this some background. This is still the exposition of our story. So I'm going to put here the story's exposition will give background on the characters and a hint of the conflict. So this would be our conflict, that the narrator was born in space, so character versus technology or character versus nature, it's affected her growth and development. All right, so now if we go back down to our answer here, it has to be she has to stay to remain healthy. So our answer choice for A is going to be she has to remain on the space station to stay healthy. And I'll make that a little bit better. So we're answer choice C here. Then we have read the sentence from paragraph 14. The tension stops me in the doorway like a force field. So this would be a comparison using like or as is an example of a simile, which is a type of figurative language. Very good. All right. So now we want to know what the word tension means. So if we go back to paragraph 4 or 14, even if we think we know the answer, let's double check. I bolt out the door, heading for the command room. The tension stops me in the doorway like a force field. And if we look, it's dialogue that follows between her father and this captain, right? So now, the tension in this case is going to mean worry. Because technically, tension, other people worrying cannot stop you. So this is also an example of personification where the tension in the room has the ability to stop the narrator from walking. So it would be D. What does paragraph 27 reveal about Jem's father? He does not think that Jem understands the problems. He does not want Jem to be in the command room. He is surprised that Jem can communicate with the shuttle. He thinks it is wrong for Jem to use the SAT booth. Let's go up to paragraph 27. You're in touch with the shuttle? My father rushes me to the SAT booth. If he rushed her to the booth, then we know that it cannot be that he's mad. And he does not think that Jem understands the problem. No, because he rushed her to the booth to help. So this is just him being surprised. He's surprised that his daughter has figured out how to use this shuttle system. But obviously, she has had a lot of time because she doesn't have any friends on this space shuttle thing, right? So for this one, answer choice 3, answer to question number 3 is going to be C. And then we have, how does Jem cause the events that happen in paragraph 28? Jem tells the crew how to get information to the shuttle. Jem becomes upset when the shuttle cannot dock. Jem asks if the shields on the shuttle can be lowered. Jem leaves her lessons because the shuttle is arriving soon. Okay, so how does Jem cause the events that happen in paragraph 28? So here's paragraph 28. The techs have swarmed her hideout and they're figuring out how to do this. She has to give them the code, and now messages are flashing back and forth between the shuttle people and Viana's shuttle family, or the shuttle workers and Viana's family, right? So, how did the narrator lead to those events? Jem tells the crew how to get the information to the shuttle. Jem told them about this SAT system, which would be like an old-fashioned computer, I think. That's what they're talking about there. So this one is A. Which quotation from the story identifies the setting? These are always tricky. The announcement drones on, but I don't listen. 11 years ago, my birth on Space Station Alpha made history. Normally I wouldn't say this, but it's got to be this one, right? Because the other ones, they'll have to do try but docking by sight. That didn't really have anything to do with it. And then the last one, I give one tech my code and watch her fingers fly over the keyboard. That has nothing to do with setting. So remember, if we didn't know here, setting is the time and place, the story. The setting is the time and place of the story. Setting can also include the context of a story. For example, if there was a war or a storm taking place, that could influence the story's conflict or the setting, obviously. That is important to know when identifying the setting. But in this case, they just want to know time and place. Technically, we know the time has to be in the future, right? Because people don't live in space now. So we know that this is a setting question having to do with time and place. Which quotation best supports a theme of the story? But new studies show that older children won't be harmed by a short stay. Spending 11 years on the station has its advantages. If the holo video worked, we could talk them in. Messages flash back and forth as techs feed docking coordinates to the shuttle. So we're looking for a theme, okay? Which would be the message of the story. So we have a story about a girl who was born on a space station, has no friends because humans aren't supposed to be born in space. It had bad health ramifications. So now she figures out a way to make sure that a girl her age is going to arrive to the space station. So now she has a friend. We could say that B has to be our answer here because this girl spent 11 years on the space station, bored with no friends. She was able to learn something, this skill that is going to be useful to now help the other family, the new family, with her potential friend. Well, Vienna is her friend because they're communicating. So you could say that this quotation supports the theme because the theme in this case could be making the best of a situation. It is always important to make the best of any situation because learning new skills and staying positive can lead to a thriving life. That's a really strange one. That's a central idea statement. But basically, we had a character, right? She did not let her life situation get her down. In fact, she remained optimistic and started learning new skills, and now her skill is able to help her save her new friend and get her to the space station. So, a theme of the story could be it's important to remain optimistic and make best out of any situation so that you can use your skills to better that situation. So our answer choice here, B.